Hello and welcome to another Teen Beat episode of This Ain't No Game. This week's movie is 1999's Wing Commander, starring Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, and Saffron Burrows. What makes Wing Commander unique as a video game movie is the involvement of Chris Roberts, the man who created the Wing Commander games and directed the live-action cutscenes of the last two games in the series proper. Roberts basically quit his job working on the Wing Commander games for Origin Systems to pursue a career directing full-fledged movies, starting with this one. There was a lot of love for the Wing Commander games in the mid to late 90s, and the notion that its creator was shepherding it onto the big screen might have raised some hopes. But Roberts sold out the Wing Commander name just as cold-bloodedly as any Hollywood outsider would have, treating it as little more than an interstellar backdrop for the space operatics of its teen heartthrob cast.
Maybe he knew something we didn't.
The first and most significant misstep that Wing Commander makes concerns its cast. Part of the problem here is that the Wing Commander games had become well known in some part because of the cinematic production of their live-action cutscenes, which featured affordably recognizable actors like Mark Hamill, Tom F. Wilson, John Rhys Davies, and Malcolm McDowell in the main roles. So Wing Commander fans already had actual actors they associated with these characters, all of whom were summarily replaced here with actors who were considerably younger and, at least at the time, more bankable.
Just keep your mind on the Karath, you maniac.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard were both still hot off their parts in the late 90s teen slasher revival, with Prinze in particular pulling a real teen heartthrob crowd. And Wing Commander actively plays off that appeal, as was proven in last week's TANG, In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, as well as virtually every other movie role he's had. Matthew Lillard has a terrific capacity for spazzy, spit-talking overacting, though he's surprisingly sedate here, which is extra ironic, considering that he's playing a character named Maniac.
It's okay.
Freddie Prinze Jr. has significantly less range as an actor, and he's in full-on sensitive teen heartthrob mode in Wing Commander, looking like he could burst into tears at any moment. There's no shortage of generalized, dramatic staring in Wing Commander, and the movie spends more time on close-ups of people staring blankly and slack-jawed at each other than it does on actual space combat with the Kilrathi. The threat of Earth's destruction at the hands of the Kilrathi, an evil alien race of cat people, takes a backseat to half-hearted battles of the sexes talks that blossom into unnecessary romantic subplots, as well as some new backstory for Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. While his father was a respected pilot, his mother was a pilgrim, a group of early space explorers who, over generations, cultivated special spacefaring abilities, and who everyone else totally distrusts and hates for some ill-defined past betrayal. This lets Wing Commander play the race card repeatedly and in the most obvious way possible. In the end, Prinze doesn't just overcome adversity, he taps into his heritage to save the day, which seems to just involve speedoed up footage of Freddie Prinze Jr. using a 10 key while dramatic music plays in the background. The Kilrathi are ostensibly the villains here, chasing and being chased by our heroes across the galaxy as they head to Earth, and yet you see neither hide nor hair of an actual Kilrathi until more than two-thirds through the movie. Though, to be fair, once you see the rubbery puppets used for the Kilrathi, which hardly resemble the furry lioness Kilrathi from the games, you can understand why Roberts might avoid showing them as much as possible. The extremely brief moments that they are on camera, they're dimly lit and shrouded in fog, as though the movie's embarrassed of its creature's effects, and with good reason. The movie has slightly more faith in its abilities to render space combat sequences, though they look a little rough for something that came out the same year as The Phantom Menace. There's a tendency in Wing Commander to show all its space action from a really wide shot, which makes everything look like it's moving really slowly, sucking any potential excitement from the proceedings. You'd have more fun watching someone else play a Wing Commander game. Now, usually when a video game movie fails miserably, there's a knee-jerk reaction to place a certain amount of blame at Hollywood's feet, usually either because of arbitrary changes to the source material, bad casting, or the introduction of hoary old Hollywood movie cliches that are at odds with the feel of the games. Wing Commander is guilty of all three of these offenses, but this is a case where, instead of Hollywood outsiders, only the creator of the games can really be held accountable for how terrible the movie is.
Long distance.
Freddie Prinze Jr. has significantly less range as an actor.
Why me?
And he's in full-on sensitive teen heartthrob mode in Wing Commander, looking like he could burst into tears at any moment.
Well, guys, we have to jump into the Vega sector a little sooner than planned.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of This Ain't No Game. I'm Ryan Davis, and I challenge you, Freddie Prinze Jr., to a stare-off. You and me, right now. Let's go!
You're all right, Angel.
Ah!
Freddie Prinze wins.
All right, you win, Freddie, this time.